Most golfers slice this club off the tee. So today I'm going to give you a couple, stroke 3, great tips to help change that slice into a straight shot or even the draw shot, so you can hit more consistent drives, hit more fairways, and therefore lower your scores. The key to most people's golf is being less destructive off the tee. If you're less destructive off the tee, your scores come down. And also you enjoy it, you don't lose as many balls. So we all want to do that. We all want to be in play more often and walk down that fairway with a smile on our face. So let's get stuck into 3 great tips to help you find more fairways. Okay, so most people slice the ball. So slice is a shot that starts left of target for a right-handed golfer, curves to the right and finishes right at target. When we do that, we lose power. We get what's called an oblique strike. So the face is swiping across the golf ball, creating a mismatch between the face and the direction we're swinging it. The swing direction is across the ball and the face is pointing generally to the right of the target. And that creates that cut spin, that left to right spin, and that oblique strike we've talked about. It can also cause strike issues too. So when we hit a straight shot, we're very much swinging on a circle and the club face is square to that circle basically, or even if you want to draw the ball more to the right with the club face closing to that circle. So we want to look at 3 great tips now that help you. Most golfers, when they set up to the driver, do it incorrectly. What they do is when the ball goes forward, the shoulders and the forearms aim to the left and the sternum and head get too much on top of the ball because that's where they're trying to see the ball because the ball's where it is. So the first tip is about staying square with your shoulders and forearms and trying to feel that your right arm is under your left arm, and I call it the dumbbell position or the give blood position. Now if your right arm is too straight because it's below this hand, you'll see there how the shoulder goes forward. So the right arm should have a bend in it in order to help it sit behind. So we want to feel, can I do a dumbbell? Can I get it on the club then with not too much effort? Consequently, another way of doing it is go down your trouser leg onto this, or even the give blood. Can I give blood? And I'm in that position, and that's how I want to set to the golf ball. And from there, feel the right arm stays lower and inside, and then swing through. That one there, straight, down the middle of the fairway, not full power, just giving it a little swipe away with the correct setup. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2 and tip number 3 are very interlinked. So what we tend to see with a lot of golfers is their transition and sequence isn't right to hit the slice. So when we're setting up to the driver, the key is really to get this shoulder level with the center of your stance. Get your seam of your shirt, if you can, past the ball. So we want to feel like our shoulder gets behind the golf ball. Now to help us do that, if we just take a club or a rod and put it behind the golf ball like so, I'm looking to try and get my shoulder, as I see it from here, past that golf ball. So creating that, what you call big turn behind the ball. Now if you find that difficult, just draw your right foot back a bit and draw your hip back a bit to allow you to have a bit more room to turn behind the ball and encourage that turn behind the ball. So we want to feel, when we're hitting drives, same setup position we've already talked about, our shoulder gets behind that rod. That is tip number 2. Now tip number 3, as I said, is quite interlinked with that one. It's about staying more closed on the downswing. So if we don't turn behind the ball, it's pretty impossible to be in this kind of position on the way down. Now to get the sequence right on the way down, we want the hips to lead and the upper body basically to right side bend a little bit like I'm showing here. This is right side bend. And I want you to feel, particularly for the driver and particularly for the slicers of this world, that the back of this shoulder here is facing target when we make contact with the ball. Now, it's a feel. Are you really going to be there? No, you're going to be more rotated. But what we see with a lot of golfers, they'll rotate early, the hands come out and the club comes out and we cut across the golf ball. And that's definitely a no-no for me. We want to feel that we are starting the swing with the club on a more inward pattern or a deeper pattern with the hands, so we can hit it from the inside to hit a straight shot or a draw shot. So the feeling is shoulders behind the ball, back of the shoulder still facing target as I make contact with the ball. So I feel like my chest is kind of pointing back here behind the ball. It's a feel. Again, in reality, I'm going to be more here. And if you pick up any pictures of any tour players, they'll be more rotated than I'm demonstrating here. Again, I stress, this is a slicer's feel, people who want to draw feel. If you're a straight ball flight person, you just want to hit a draw, this feel will help give you a little draw down the fairway if you want to draw it on one specific hole. It's a great little feel. So we take our setup, we tuck our arm in, we feel behind the ball and stay behind the ball. And that one was the best of the lot. So the highest flight, the most draw, started down the right hand side. No sign of a slice, which is good news. But definitely for me, if I'm warming up with the driver, that's the way I want to warm up. So I start to encourage this pattern, this movement, to make sure I can then find fairways for the rest of the round. If I have a fault, I get too steep in my transition. So that means I'm compensating around that golf ball. If I can start it feeling this way, it means I don't have to compensate through the ball, and then my hands don't get so active, and then the consistency levels go way up, and therefore I hit less destructive drives, and I'm happier. I'm losing less golf balls, and my scores are coming down. Give it a go if you want to improve your driving.